Good evening, everybody. I am your host, John. I'm joined today by fellow Brits, Jack and Nick, as we watch this match between Murray and Norrie. I will try and keep you abreast of other matches that are going on, both on the men's and women's side in North America, as we see Norrie bringing up a break point there. Jack, how are you, and what's your thoughts on the match so far?
I'm really good, thank you, John. This is the first time in a while I felt kind of confident about Andy versus somebody sort of in the top 10. Maybe Cam's about 11 in the world around there. I felt quite good going into this match. Doesn't mean I don't feel nervous when break points come up and stuff, but first note I had to make was Andy's playing a very smart match. I feel a lot of slicing to Cam's backhand, really low, flat backhand from Cam, so it's a really good move, slice approach as he rattles down an unreturned serve there. I'm feeling good about it, John. It's my short answer. But there's a bit.
I mean, your optimism for Murray was greater than mine ahead of the match. I had Norrie to win in straight sets. What was your reasoning behind being so confident regarding Murray's chances today?
I feel Cam. I'm not saying he's a pusher at all. I think that's definitely too harsh a word for him. But he does rely on decent rally temperament and awkward balls to break down players. Somebody like Andy, a lot better equipped to deal with variety from the other side. You know, you get a really low flat backhand from Cam. You get a really high loopy forehand. Andy's one of the few players who has this sort of variety in his arsenal to deal with that sort of thing. So it's quite a good matchup for me in terms of a top player facing Andy. I'd feel worse if you had your Berrettinis sort of bombing down serves against him, for example. Somebody like Cam, maybe he could unstick, possibly. That's why I'm feeling quite optimistic, John.
Fair enough. Nick, what are your thoughts on this first set and a half so far?
I've been having it on the background because obviously I had to finish my working day. But from what I can tell, I think this has been a very, very good match from Andy. This is almost like watching him in the good old days when he was number one, top 4 in the world. The backhand's firing. He's returning everything spot on. He's outlasting Norrie in terms of running around and being consistent. He's finding the passing shots. So, I think this has been a very, very good day for Andy Murray. It's been even though my accent is not the same as Jack's, I'm very much also an Andy Murray supporter. Over Cam Norrie, it has to be said. Sorry, Norrie Nation.
Are you not a fan of Norrie? Is that what are you saying? You're not a fan?
No, I like Norrie. I do like Norrie, actually. I remember when he came along and he played Davis Cup a few years back, and I can't remember who we were against, but I remember him having a really good match and really impressive. And it was fairly early in his career, and I was like, this guy's going places. It took him a bit longer than I thought, but I've watched Andy for years now. I remember the trauma of watching him finally win majors and get to the very top of the world. I think I see him close out that game. So standard clutch Murray, he is the better player out there right now, but he's not making it easy. I don't think I've ever watched an easy win for Andy Murray. Probably have
all about
that. Sorry?
I just said I know all about that. Obviously, I've watched him for years and years, and it feels like every single one you get put through the ringer for sure. There was that little spot in 2016 where it felt very easy watching Andy, but apart from that, it's been basically 15 years of hell, I've got to say. So,
if something dramatic, by the way, for those of you tuning in, if something dramatic does occur in the match, we will fill you in. And from time to time, of course, we will dip into it. Murray winning the first set 6-3. I'm still at the beginning of my YouTube live. So at the moment, we don't have any flash things on the screen telling you the scores, but that will be coming, I can assure you, as I get to grips with 21st century technology. We will be seeing live scores, I hope, very soon, if not today, but very soon in the future, certainly in time for the US Open, I hope. But it's 6-3 and it's going with serve 3-all here. But we saw that lovely little Andy Murray sort of, it's not a big moment, but he's gone love 15 up here. And a little always has gone wayward there. We've now seen the Andy Murray frustration as as he bangs his thigh there. So it's 15-all. So it's very much nip and tuck here. We've not seen we've not seen a single break of serve yet in this second set.
I was going to say, I do wonder if there's sort of a mentor and mentee, whatever the word is, factor going on here. That Cam used to get taught by Andy a lot when he was in his sort of formative years. I feel like Andy probably knows Cam's game inside out. Maybe Cam also knows Andy's game inside out, definitely. But he's certainly come into the game feeling like he knows what to expect. Not much has changed in Cam's game. That's the thing. I know he's become a top 10 player, and was ranked outside the top 50, even like a couple of years ago. But really, it's because of the serving and how aggressive he can be from the first ball. But again, that's something that Andy can neutralise. So I really feel like, obviously he's a set up here, but I really feel like he's got a good chance. I don't think he's going to flag, and I don't think Cam's making the comeback personally, but we'll see.
I was talking a little while ago on Twitter about Murray and hoping to find some consistency is something he said ahead of this match, and it's something he's been talking about a lot over the last 18 months. He's desperate to break into that top 32, which is the magic number, of course, as we all know, to ahead of slams where he'll get seeded potentially. I worked it out as being he would probably have to get to the final here, and then he would be in the top 32, which would be a big milestone for him. And by the way, semi-final or final, bearing in mind he got to this stage last year as Norrie takes a 4-3 lead here in this second set. What are your thoughts on Murray's final year or two, perhaps, of his career, Nick?
Oh, I don't think we're done yet. I don't think we're anywhere near this final year at all.
Final year or two, I said, I'm being loose.
Yeah, even two. He's a stubborn man.
Okay.
The only way I see this ending in the next couple of years is he injures himself again.
Okay.
That's the only way I see it finishing, because I think if you look at how old he is, he's a week older than Djokovic, I think. So that in theory, that sort of peak performance is there. He may not be able to find it, but like that fitness is still there, that he could carry on for another few years, closer to 40, even with the hip. So no, I don't think we're in the final. As I said, I think he'll have to burn himself out physically for him to stop in the next couple of years. I think he's enjoying out there too much.
Just seeing Isner taking to the court. He's up against Hurkacz today, also in a last 32 clash. Last 32 as well is where I mentioned the rankings, because last 32 is where Murray went out last year to Hurkacz, funny enough, in a very tight match that gave me some optimism going into last year's US Open for Andy Murray. Unfortunately, of course, he ends up playing Tsitsipas, which is a really tough opening round. Not helped, of course, by that infamous toilet break. Do you remember that, Jack?
No, I remember that well. Yes, John. That was such a good match. It's just such a shame. It really felt like Andy should have won it. The second set is the thing I remember the most. Just 2 set points. The shoe came off at one point. Everybody was just like, "Why don't you have a normal pair of shoes, Andy? What are you doing, man?" It was he should have won that match, really. I mean, that second set was his, and then after, there was just a couple of loose points, and all of a sudden that was it. Yeah, the toilet break, John. I don't know. I slate Tsitsipas for it, but I don't think it was the be all and end all. I think Andy likes to hold a grudge, definitely. So I think he maybe blew it out of proportion a wee bit, I would say.
Yeah. So he's now 3-4 down here. So he's obviously going with serve. This set has been very different to the first set, I would say. The first set, I think there were 3 breaks in all, but it felt as though each of them were hanging on to their serve throughout. Murray eventually winning at 6-3, but even he had a few moments as he was trying to close it out where I had a feeling that Norrie might break. I also remember Murray having a couple of break points in the first set as well that he didn't take advantage of. Or it might be the beginning of the second. I think it was the beginning. It was middle way through the first, and I thought, I wonder if he's going to regret that. So really, Murray has been the more threatening player without, but he's gone 30 love up here. Go on, Jack.
Yeah, I was going to say there was one at the start of the second set. I had my head in my hands, a volley on top of the net, and I think he just edged it wide. I'm pretty sure on break point.
Yes, actually, I do remember that. Yeah.
It was perfect up until that point.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, so Nick, sorry, not Nick, Jack, what do you think? Do you think I was being a bit harsh on suggesting that we're in the last year or two of Murray's career, as Nick sort of countered?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think if he's hanging about the top 50, I genuinely think he believes that he could make a run, or he could beat anybody in the world is the most important thing. I don't think he's lost that sort of belief in himself. He's had big wins. So I think so long as he's taking those big wins every so often, he's not going to feel like it's impossible for him to make a deep run at a big tournament. And I don't know if it's a slam that he wants to tick off. It probably is, to be honest. He probably wants one more deep run at a slam. Maybe if he does that, then he'll retire. But there's no way he doesn't. He won't stop until something severely stops him from playing, because the hip obviously hasn't stopped him, and that should have been the end of it. So
yeah.
I mean,
we all thought it was. We all thought it was the end of him a couple of years ago, but here we are.
Yeah, I think he'll keep going as long as he can, definitely. And yeah, I stand by that. He's beaten top 10 players in the last couple of years. So if he gets a decent draw at a slam, I'm one of the people who think it's not impossible that he could do well at a slam.
I mean, I know it was just after his lengthy layoff last year, but I thought that win against Nadal in the exhibition in Abu Dhabi was pretty impressive. I thought Nadal was his first match back, Nadal, but I thought Nadal was impressive in that match, but Murray managed to beat him. Nick, what are your thoughts here at 30 all 3-4? Is Murray going to hang on? Is he going to win this in straight sets?
I mean, I've watched it with like the 2 points that Norrie won. I think one of them was kind of a scrappy one, a little bit of the net. That's a nice serve from Andy. He's got to put this away. Yeah, he does. I feel like Andy should put this game away. But as you've noticed, like this second set's been a bit tighter. A bit more kind of between the two of them. They're sort of a bit more comfortable on serve. But I could see Cam having a go at this one, but I don't know. I think if Murray has a good serve here, he should hold on and make 4-all, and then we're really in the business end of the set.
Do you know what? Do either of you know? Do either of you know, and feel free to interrupt me, do either of you know what the head-to-head is between Norrie and Murray? I do, but I had to check it out.
I guess it's heavily in Andy's
favor. I didn't look it up.
Okay, so I looked it up, and you're guessing heavily in Andy's favor. What are you going to give me a guess, Nick?
It really depends on when they play. Like Norrie, when did Norrie come on scene? 2017, so it would have been after Andy's 2016, 2017, just around Andy's absolute peak / sharp decline as the hip injury hit set in. So I'm going to go marginally in favor of Cameron Norrie.
Do you know what?
I'd say
go on, Jack.
I'd say 2-love.
Okay, not bad, Jack. Not bad. In a way, you're both kind of right because actually, no, Nick. Sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong because it's 1-love to Murray.
Okay, cool.
So it's 100%. So it's 100% in favour of Murray. But anyway, I mean, by the way, you could have had marginally in favour of Murray or incredibly in favour of Murray. Anywhere in between would have been fine with a 1-love lead. But sadly, you erred on the side of Norrie. One thing, Nick. One thing I'll say to both of you actually is that I didn't see this from Norrie. This improvement over the last 18 months, at least in terms of the rankings. I never saw him being a top 10 player. I didn't really see him winning a Masters as he did. I do want to interrupt though because Norrie's got break point here. Jack, do you want to just take us through this crucial moment here as Norrie has advantage?
Yeah, has Andy just missed his first serve? Did I see that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's missed his first serve.
I'll talk you through the point, see what happens.
Yeah, do it.
Forehand from Andy. Don't like it when he gets a forehand. Prefer if he has a backhand, to be honest. If he starts slicing it, yeah, if that had hit the line, but it didn't, it missed, unfortunately. So, yeah, I really like the slice to Cam's backhand. If he can keep doing that, amazing. He had the right idea there, but unfortunately, yeah, just missed the sideline, gave himself a little bit too much risk in that last shot, unfortunately. So, yep, Andy is broken and Cam's 5-3 ahead.
Yep, now 5-3. So now it's Norrie serving for it. Go on, Nick, sorry.
I was going to say, I think Cam's serving this one out now. I think he's served pretty well this set.
He has, yeah.
Going to.
We're going to go for a third, and then my thoughts are that the momentum is with Norrie, but who knows? But yeah, it looks like he's on a second serve here, but it's they're on the rally here. So this is a crucial moment in the match, you would say, and that's an excellent. No, but it doesn't matter because Murray and I may be a few seconds ahead of you both. Murray has just unbelievable cross forehand there. Yeah, exactly. So he's love 15 here.
The winner's just streaked across my screen.
Nice. As we all get up to speed here at love 15, and that was an incredible shot, but Murray's going to have to pull out probably 3 more of those if he's going to break here, and Norrie's got a second serve. Love 15. We will focus very much on this game before we digress once again to other things, because we're at love 15 here. Second serve on the Norrie, and an unbelievable return there from Murray, rolling back the years. Jack, what do you make of that?
Yeah, only about a meter inside the court there when he took that one on. That's like my favourite one of Andy's returns. He does it a lot. I just normally he sends it back to the player's toes rather than going for the clean winner. That was exactly the right time to take on a little bit more risk. Perfect. Surely he's got it now.
Oh, and Norrie goes long. Love 40. Nick, what about that prediction that Norrie's going to serve this out?
I should have more faith in Murray, really, because of course, Stanley Murray return genius that only is rivaled by Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, I agree.
Gets him right back in this. I mean, it is love 40. Let's never say never, but no. Look, I'm frequently happy to say things that are wrong if the thing I'm predicting I don't want to happen.
I'll give you the percentage chance of recovering from love 40 according to Tennis Head magazine is 20%. So
okay, well he's got the first point back.
20%,
40.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's that? Murray just sort of stretching down.
I think that was It was a good serve +1 from Norrie.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah, that's a good point about his. Yeah, go for it, Jack.
This is a second serve. I was just saying this is a second serve now. That's a terrible missed return, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's taken a risk, isn't he? I think he's just probably felt that throughout this second set, he's not really had a sniff at the serve. And so what he's gone for is some really aggressive returns, which have paid off largely, but on that occasion, dumps it into the net, 30-40.
Yeah. Standard Andy sort of chastising himself for missing that.
He's in the point here, though, at least.
Go on, Jack.
He's really in the point now. Yeah, backhand to Andy's forehand. That was almost out, but it's just clipped the corner. And yeah, Cam's got an aggressive forehand now. Should put it away really from here, but Andy's still in it at the moment. Yep, smash. Put away, unfortunately. Back to deuce.
Well, there we go. So maybe Nick, you might be right after all, deuce as we are on this point now. And so he's 2 points now finally from winning the set, Norrie. And from love 40 down, he, despite the 20% odds that Jack nicely pulled up for us, he's managed to pull it back to deuce.
Jack, is that 20% odds of winning the game from love 40 down or 20% odds of going back to deuce? Because that's 20% together.
It is, yeah, and 20% odds of winning the game.
And now he's brought up set point. Jack, just take us through this point. He's got a set point here.
Okay.
Big serve out wide, ace.
There you go. Didn't take long, and finally, Nick.
That was easy.
You can at least say you got that right. So he takes this second set 6-3. So as we go into the third, Murray must be kicking himself there, don't you think, Nick?
No, I think Norrie was serving too. I mean, obviously, Murray will be kicking himself because that's what Andy does, because he held such a high expectation of himself that he should be able to get everything back in play. But I think that was some really good serving from Norrie that fundamentally dug him out that hole. So even though Andy will chastise himself, I think it would be a bit harsh. I think Norrie, that was Norrie saving it rather than Murray losing it.
Perhaps, but I will just bring out 1 point, and that was the second serve that he dumped into the net, Jack.
Yeah, that's how I felt as well. Definitely should have been making that return at least. But then obviously we gave him plaudits for the massive forehand return at love 15, didn't we? So it's you gotta take some, you gotta leave some. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you take on a bit more risk.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Just looking at some stats there from that first set, Murray had those 4 break points, as it turned out, in that set. You mentioned one at the beginning, and then obviously 3 at the end. Didn't take any of them. Norrie taking 1 from 3, and ultimately he just took his chance a bit better.
I actually, going into the third set, I feel pretty confident about Andy's chances, to be honest. I really don't think he did a ton wrong there. It felt like Cam was giving him more forehands than backhands there. Certainly the slice approach. It was a really, really good tactic in the first set. He pretty much played it every single time he had the opportunity to. I didn't see much of it there at all. So I don't know if Cam must be changing his shot direction a little bit, going for the forehand a little bit more, which is a good move really against Andy, who doesn't tend to tee off on his forehand as much as other players, for sure.
Right. What are your thoughts going into this third set, Nick?
I don't think I can really add anything more than Jack. Really, I think I completely agree with his assessment. Yeah, I think this is going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be signed, sealed, and delivered. I think this one's going to go like it's going to be a break near the end of the set that's going to settle it, and it's going to be whoever plays the best at the end. That sort of solves it, and yeah. So I don't know. It's probably more of a coin flip, but I'd still feel pretty confident about Andy's chances right now. So
nice, Nick.
Good luck, John. You're about to ride into an Andy Murray third set with two fans.
Cool. Thanks for that. I'm just going to take us around as we've got this little pause in play, so to speak, with the clock ticking on the toilet break. I noticed they soon went to that on my screen at least, and I'm guessing we have the same production at the very least. So yeah, that's quite funny. But they've got Andy Murray's shot off for the toilet, so he'll be back shortly. But during this break, I will just take us around a few other matches that are going on. Rublev is currently a set down, albeit it's going on serve in the second set to Fognini. Rublev was 5-2 down in the first set before managing to get it back to a tiebreak. But Fognini ultimately sealing that 7-6. And Rublev now wins that game. So he's now 5-4 up. And Fognini's serving to stay in the second set. Rublev, by the way, his form has been patchy, to say the least. Either of you got a thought on Rublev?
Yeah, this one's really weird. Their head-to-head is extremely decorated for some reason. 5-all between the two players. You would not have expected them to have played 10 matches throughout Rublev's fairly short stint at the top of the game, for sure. But Fognini seems to give him problems. To be fair, it's been 4 on the bounce for Rublev. But Fognini's had some big wins in the past. Certainly a Masters win at Monte Carlo when Fognini was champion in 2019. One of the picks of the letter, for sure. Rublev... he's been melting down a lot, smacking himself a little bit more than usual. I've seen a lot of videos of him punching his racket. There's been a lot more meltdowns than there hasn't, or certainly meltdowns that seem to impact the impact of the match. He certainly has a meltdown pretty much every time he loses. But that's been the takeaway for a lot of fans, for sure, that it just feels like the emotions are kind of impacting on his game a little bit, and he's getting a little bit looser than he used to be, definitely.
Cool. Do either of you know who the winner of Murray or Norrie would potentially play in the next round?
Sorry, I've just muted myself.
It's either Casper Ruud or Ben Shelton.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So Ben Shelton obviously having a pretty impressive win. I think it was last night. I'm getting if I've got my days and
against Sonego. Yeah, it was against Sonego. I'm pretty sure Lorenzo Sonego.
Yeah. Who I always get confused with Musetti, but. Maybe, but he looks a very young guy anyway at times. I mean, at times when I'm watching him from the back of the court, so to speak, and I'm thinking this looks like an athlete. And then suddenly when he won that match yesterday, I was like, oh, he's young. He's really, I mean, I know he's young, but sometimes I forget about it with these very impressive athletes, shall we say. But may well be, Nick. Have you got any thoughts on Ben Shelton, Ben?
I haven't seen him play because I think the Sonego match was and I wasn't watching it because I hadn't heard of Ben Shelton before yesterday, and I was like, oh, you guy, and Sonego isn't the most decorated player in the world, so I just wasn't bothered with watching that match. But then I saw the result. I was like, okay, people are now talking about this guy, so I'm really curious to see how he does against Ruud. But looking very quickly at his record, he does look fairly new to the tour. So I'm interested. He's just won a challenger, I think, a couple of challenges. Okay. So I'm interested in seeing his. He might be someone to watch, Shelton.
I haven't seen much from play, but I know he's just looking at his Wikipedia page. 6'4" left-hander. So I imagine similar to Draper in the British side, he's probably got a huge lefty serve, probably that then will take him near the top 50, probably, I'd imagine, if it's big enough, for sure. But I've not seen much from him play before at all. I'm sure I saw one of his matches. I feel like I'm getting names mixed up now. But you need Damien Coustier for this. He'll have seen a million Ben Shelton matches in his. Yeah,
he likes the guys around the challengers, doesn't he? I know. And Fognini's just held there to go 5-all. That was a big hold from Fognini, as it's really at the business end of that second set. Murray, of course, and Norrie now back underway on the centre court. But Norrie's made a good start to this third set. Jack, do you want to have a few comments? Ooh.
Yeah, I've just seen the forehand from Norrie go wide. To be honest, that was a huge let-off, and Andy's chances go far further up in this game now. I think Andy will absolutely kick himself if he loses this game, because it's the kind of match he's talked about recently, where he feels like he's kind of lost that intensity. He talks about it a lot. Obviously, you watch Andy and you feel that there's fewer intense guys on the more intense guys on the tour. But certainly he's talked about the dips in and out of matches, and he just feels like there's been moments where he's just been a little bit loose. So if he misses his first serve here, he hasn't. He should get it now, surely. That's a drop shot from Andy, volley into the open court. Perfect. Yeah, I feel good about his chances now.
30 all. I'll just take us through the next 30 seconds. Oh, go on, Nick. Go on. Go on, Nick.
Talking about intensity, I mean, like that match against Wawrinka was pretty intense, so he must be feeling very confident after that. And I'm wondering whether him having battle with Wawrinka has kind of raised his spirits a little bit. It's made him much more up for this fight.
Nick, did you take a lot of positives from that Wawrinka match then? Because I didn't see it, so I can't really pass too much comment. Did you take a lot of positives for Murray going forward from that match?
So I only first saw the first set and a half, or set and a bit, because then Jack and I ended up recording a podcast together during the end of it. So I'm blaming for the fact that I've missed it. I haven't had a chance to catch up. And technical difficulties, to be fair.
I was going to say after the podcast, Nick, I did get to catch up on it. My favourite thing about it, I think Andy was 2-love down in the third set, so obviously the fighting spirit was still there while Andy dumps a volley into the net there. And my favourite thing about it was he was cramping a little bit at 2-love, and he was kind of forced to go more aggressive. And obviously it's the bane of us Andy fans' lives. You sometimes feel like he kind of just go for rally temperament, outlast his opponents rather than go for the shots he should be going for. And he was hitting big forehands. He was coming to the net when he should have. It's almost like because he had his back against the wall and he couldn't move properly, he was forced to go for bigger shots. And it was a delight to watch. Actually, it was really, really good.
Yeah. But you took some. Go on, Nick. Go on.
So the first couple of sets, like I was impressed by Andy's level, the level they both brought. To be honest, it was like watching sort of old times, as it were, flashback to 2016. I was impressed by the level Andy brought and the way he sort of just fought to stay in it and then just took advantage like he always does. So for what I did see, I was impressed by his level.
Yeah, we'll just stick with this first game as it's a bit tense here for both players, I guess. As Norrie dumps a second serve return there. And I love the fact that Murray is celebrated like he's just hit a worldie rather than the fact he's relied on his opponent's unforced error.
I had to fist pump there as well, to be fair. That's an absolute gimme. Very, very happy with that.
I'm slightly on Murray's side today. I don't have any great preference over either player. I like both and their personalities for various different reasons, but I am more on the Murray side of things just because despite some of the optimism both of you have expressed regarding Murray's career, I do still see this bit towards the end, and I'd love to see him have one last big go, particularly at a major, but if it's a Masters, then so be it. And so I am slightly more on his side as he has an advantage here. So he's got a game point, does a backhand now, and another backhand, gets it over the net. And we've got a slice there from Norrie, and he goes slice, and he goes into the net here, Murray. And he's going to be lobbed, is he? Out. So there we go. He sealed that first game.
That's the play I was talking about earlier there, John. So he got the chance to hit a backhand slice down the line to Cam's backhand. He has not failed when he's played that shot so far. I think, apart from when he misses it, when he actually makes the slice, though, I think he's won pretty much every point he's had, just because Cam's forced to hit up on his really, really sort of bunty low backhand, basically. So perfect play. Really, really good way to save that game.
A big way of seeing what was an important game as he was in a spot of bother there. I'll just take us around a couple of other matches. OnsJabeur against McNally is looking very tight. They're in a third set, and they're both on serve. Jabeur is 3-4 down. John Isner, by the way, I was wondering why he took the court as quickly as he did, because I thought there's plenty of other matches going on. Well, John Isner and Hurkacz are on serve, and the reason they're on court already is because Felix demolished Minaur. Any thoughts on Felix or Minaur, Nick?
I mean, well, look, I think we talked a bit about Felix last time came on, John. I think, look, Felix on American hard courts or North American hard courts is a fantastic combination. He absolutely loves it out there. So as I said, I wasn't surprised he was a little bit flat against Casper Ruud in Canada, but he's looking very good today again. So I expect another deep run to come from him. And yeah, with Minaur, you never know quite what you're going to get, whether if he's on, then he's got the kind of game that could frustrate Felix. But I think Felix was just too good for him. He was in peak mode, at least from what I could tell from brief clips I've seen so far. I have been focused on this Murray-Norrie match, but I think Felix is probably going to go deep again this week.
What about that return for Murray?
Yeah,
but he's unfortunately not managed to win that point. Yeah, sorry, Nick. I think Jack and I are more or less at the same point, but I think we might be a couple of seconds ahead of you, Nick. So I hope we don't spoil things too much. But what about that return from Murray? But he didn't win the point, Jack.
Yeah, it was a shame. And then he also, again, followed up with the forehand slice this time. Really should have won the point, to be honest. It was a good play, but again, to be fair, the pass from Cam was pretty decent. So,
yeah. Just a quick side note on Felix. I have him winning this tournament. Ooh, boy, what about that for a return from Murray? Again, bringing up thoughts of yesteryear, 2015. Now, Nick, go on.
I mean, your prediction's looking better than mine. I had Norrie winning this tournament. Norrie.
Well, he's still in it. He's still in it.
He is still in it.
He's still in it, yeah. But I did not expect, and I thought Andy was going to get tired out by Wawrinka and then not be able to bring it to Norrie. And no, this is the best recovery from a big match that Andy's had in years. So, hey, I'm more than happy to be wrong on this one.
So I guess if all goes well, John, you'll be seeing Felix in the quarters against Rafa, probably.
That's exactly what I've got in it's hardly Nostradamus to expect Nadal to beat Coric and then the next opponent. But yeah, I've got because I think it's obviously round of 32, round of 16. Yeah, they meet in the round of 8 if they continue winning or if they both get that far, which I expect them both to do. Yeah. And I have Felix to beat Rafa, of course, if it was 5 sets, and of course if it was a major, and certainly if Rafa had a tournament or two before, my prediction will be very different. But I just think that if that clash does happen and Felix continues the form that he's largely shown this year, I see Felix prevailing. But we'd have to see how Rafa gets on in tonight at the very least. Just a quick thing. I'm just going to quickly just go over to Fognini and Rublev because they are now into another tie break. You obviously already mentioned, Jack, their head-to-head being 5-all. So you seem to be quite knowledgeable regarding these two players. Well, it's now into a tie-break, and it's on serve as they go forehand to forehand here at 1-all. Any final thoughts or least thoughts on Rublev and Fognini? For
sure, yeah. If I had to pick a winner, I would pick Rublev there, regardless of how his form has been under pressure against sort of players that, well, to be fair, Fognini obviously can light it up. Actually, maybe that's why it's such a bad matchup for Rublev, because he is capable of just coming out with very unexpected stuff. But yeah, complete credit to Rublev when he's under pressure. Pretty much all year, he's come out trumps. People tend to beat him quite quickly or not at all. Really.
So in the tight matches this year, you feel as though Rublev has prevailed?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that forehand is pretty much unplayable. It's just such a good weapon to have. If the rally keeps going on, he's the one that can sort of put a little bit more pace in the ball without asking too much risk of himself, basically, because it's just such a reliable weapon. So
sorry, just to interrupt. It also just got him out of jail there because actually it was a demon return from Fognini on the backhand side, but it was actually his forehand, Rublev, that forced an error from Fognini. So they're still on serve. Just Nick, do you? What are your thoughts on Fognini? He's a guy who divides opinion.
Not a fan. I mean, tennis, explosive, spectacular, but yeah, and he is a world-class player. You don't win a Masters 1000 without being a world-class player. You don't be one of the few people who goes head-to-head with Rafa Nadal over 5 sets and win, as he did at the US Open a few years back.
Oh, from 2 sets down,
2 sets down, yeah.
Yeah, like exclusive club there from 2 sets down to beat Rafa. I don't think
I think
No,
sets the
I'm
pass.
right thinking Djokovic has never done that.
Sets the pass in Australia is the only other one.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's
and
just two
Islam.
people. And another world-class player. So Fognini's world-class, but I don't really like how he behaves on a tennis court. Like, it's almost kind of Kyrgios level of unnecessary aggression, really, in some of the stuff that he comes out with.
Well,
actually probably worse than Kyrgios, in my opinion.
Nick, we should mention at this point the Fognini Murray spat from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of.
It was funny. It was kind of
It
funny.
was.
I mean, I listen. I think Fognini was out of order, but I think there's levels of out of order, and I think we know the levels that Kyrgios goes to. But Nick, do you remember that fallout that the two had?
Fognini and Murray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah. It's. I don't. I remember thinking of.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Go on, Jack. I mean, I remember,
Murray,
but go on, Jack. Fill in the gaps.
It was basically Andy had a volley on top of the net. Fognini screams at him basically from the back of the court, and there's a kind of spat with the umpire between him and Andy. Fognini's just talking, like rambling away in the background, and Andy comes out with that, like, just like shut the poshest shut up you've ever heard in your life, basically, to Fognini. It's just so funny. He's so preppy. Honestly, it's really funny to describe Andy or be a fan of him and just listen to him say stuff like that. He's very. The best snide remark I've ever seen him make was against Lucas Rosso. I don't know if you've ever seen that, when he says everybody hates you to Lucas Rosso on courts.
Fognini said that?
No, Andy Murray said that to
Andy
Lucas
Murray
Rosso.
said it.
Rosso deserved it, to be fair. Definitely.
Yeah, he does. He's another one who divides opinion. But by the way, just so you guys both know, and anyone else as well, I've got my screen currently, given the tightness of this second set between Fognini and Rublev. What's going? I've got that on my screen right now. What's going on, Nick, between Murray and Norrie, just to keep me and everyone else abreast?
Well, it's currently they're currently at a changeover. And Murray holding serve relatively comfortably. I think Norrie got a couple of points, but nothing too worrying if you're a Murray fan. This set's kind of going how we thought it was going to go. Bit of a quick tangent, but OnsJabeur is 2 points away from going out.
Oh, I like that. I like, not that I'm against OnsJabeur, but I like tangents. Go on, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, so I haven't got it on because I'm watching the Murray match, but like I've got the live scores open. So it's 30-all, 4-5 on the Jabeur serve. And like that would be a big win for McNally because she's another young American player who hasn't really broken in the same way as others like Addison and Goff.
Jack, go on.
I was just going to say, I actually feel like Jabeur doesn't have a ton of advantages on a hard court compared to some other players. Natural surface certainly lend themselves to the slice, certainly lend themselves to the drop shot. Madrid, I mean, was amazing. The ball just totally died when she hit her drop shot and allowed her to tee off on her forehand. On a hard court, she's not much different from a lot of the top 50, to be honest. Like, her forehand's good, but it's shaky at times. Backhand can be amazing, but again, prefers it sits up like it does in the clay. So, she's not got a ton of advantages.
Jack, you just keep an eye on the Murray match, and also you keep an eye on the score from Jabeur. If anything crazy happens, just shout at me and interrupt. But I'm going to just take over for a few seconds because Rublev now has 3 set points against Fognini. But definitely shout out if McNally wins, but it's gone 5-all there, I see, Nick. So
is that match points or set points, John?
3 set points. 3 set points for Rublev. Did I say match?
No, you said set. I didn't realise it was. It wasn't the. I thought it was a third set tiebreak.
I could easily. No, it's a second set tiebreak. I could easily. I see, and he's dumped it into the net. So Rublev there levels it up. It's 1 set all. Really tight match. It seems 7-6, 6-7. Rublev obviously now with the momentum going to that third set. I see now, Jack, why you had a feeling that that maybe Rublev might well emerge in terms of the match. But anyway, the momentum is now with Rublev as they go into that third set. And now we're back on my screen is now back on Murray and Norrie. And I see that Jabeur has managed to save herself from a slightly tight situation. I hope you can all keep up with us. It's 5-all there in the third as they look like they could be heading to a third set tiebreak. back here with Norrie and Murray. Murray and Norrie. Hopefully that I won't make too many mistakes with the pronunciation of their names. If I can't get the pronunciation of the British guys' names right, then who knows how I'm going to get on with Eastern Europeans. But there we go. We're on serve here in the third set. Any thoughts, Jack, as we stay on serve here at 2-2 in the third set between Norrie and Murray?
Yeah, nothing dramatic going on. I would certainly say that the first serves have been firing basically in this set. So if it stayed on serve until 5-0, I wouldn't be that surprised, to be honest. If they could just keep going like this, I don't see any breaking in rhythm at the moment. Obviously, it just takes one service game or one return game if you're an Andy fan, obviously, to turn the tide. But nothing dramatic at the moment, John. Basically.
Nick, if it gets really tight in this match, and when I say really tight, I mean 4-4, 5-4, especially with Norrie obviously serving second, maybe that would give Andy a slight advantage. Who do you see as the more likely one? If it's super tight in this match or goes to a third set tiebreak, Nick, who do you see as the favourite if that goes that way?
Ooh, you're asking me to stick my neck on the line here. I genuinely can't call it right now. Watching this, I'd
be tempted to say Cam, unfortunately.
Go on, Jack. Go on.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to say Cam as the
Yeah,
advantage.
I'm edging towards Cam as well.
I don't want to say that, but it's just because we've had history this year of Andy maybe playing the big points, or certainly last year. Last year was terrible, but he has talked about it not knowing what to do in the bigger points, and that's a lot of the times the biggest difference for him. So I'd be tempted to say Cam, and it breaks my heart, obviously.
Will the physical element as well? I mean, obviously Murray going to a very tight 3 sets against Wawrinka, albeit 48 hours ago. Will that play a part? And we all know about Norrie's lung capacity, as various people have pointed out. That may play its part too. I mean, listen, if there's something to hang on to for both of you, it is the fact that, he's serving first in this third set. We're at a quite important point here on 15-all. If Norrie was to go 15-30 up, so to speak, here, that would be big as they go backhand to backhand, but he's gone 30-15. Yeah, that was a very good one. So he's got the slight advantage here at 30-15 in this fifth game. But I mean, listen, if you want to hang on to something from Murray's point of view, he is a 3-time major winner. Am I right in that he's lost 8 Slam finals as well?
Yeah.
That's
correct.
So that's,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about this match here specifically, but or with reference to this match. But I must say that did stand out to me the other day. I just saw that 3 from 11. I thought that was an interesting stat. I think he must have lost his first 3 or 4. Am I right?
First 4, yeah.
Yeah. Before he obviously broke his duck in New York. Go on, Nick.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. I was answering the question.
Great. That's what I like. I like agreeable. I like agreeable people. By the way, McNally has gone 6-5 up. So Jabeur is now once again under pressure. She has to hold, or she's going out in the last 32. Any thoughts from either of you on Jabeur post Wimbledon?
Yeah, I've not seen much for play actually.
Much the same as Jack's, I think.
Yeah. She's went out quite early in most of the tournaments she's played, I'm pretty sure. So there has been a dip. Again, I would just say pretty much all the tournaments she'll have played, maybe bar one possibly, have been hard courts. So if there's been a dip, having played a game that is so suited to grass and clay, it wouldn't be that surprising, to be honest. It might just take a little bit of a readjustment of her game. I mean, it would take she'd have to play a completely different game, basically, on a hard court compared to the game she likes to play on clay and grass to get the same success, for sure. Because I mean, she was so successful on the clay and grass. Yeah, I mean, obviously Wimbledon was such a good run. So yeah, it will take a lot of adjustment.
Yeah, I think the fact her game is based on this combination of not necessarily power, but certainly she's got the good deep shots, but like the variety as well. It does suit natural surfaces a lot better. I mean, that being said, she is a Australian Open quarterfinalist from a couple of years back. So it can work on hard, but it kind of evens the playing field a lot more. So yeah, basically, I think Jack's analysis is kind of spot on. I'm not surprised by the dip. This is not. It's kind of working. This calendar's working from her at the minute. So
yeah.
No need to panic if you're a Jabeur fan.
I tell you where there is need to panic, at least from my side, as somebody who's got a soft spot for Sakkari, Nick. Am I right to be worried?
She's not had a great season since that Indian Wells final. I think I saw a tweet from Jose Morgado saying she's now 16-16 for the year. Since record 16-1, 16 loss or something like that since the Indian Wells final. It's definitely 50-50. I might have the numbers wrong, but it's definitely even. Sakkari's a tricky one because I don't know what's up with her right now. It's hard to put my finger on what's kind of going wrong. She's not injured. Her game doesn't seem to have changed much. I didn't really see her loss to Garcia, other than the fact like Garcia seems to be hitting a purple patch at the minute. But I would say that Sakkari probably does lack against a lot of top players, and we could probably guess that when she's gone deep.
Just going to interrupt you, by the way. McNally has 2 match points. If you can keep an eye on that score at the very least, I'll have Jack just keep one eye on Murray and Norrie. Please shout out and interrupt me if something crazy happens in any match or whatever going on. Keep an eye on, obviously, Murray and Norrie, Jack, for me. And I'm just going to just quickly take us around a couple of other matches. Isner and Hurkacz, Shock is on serve for all. Jabeur, we've just touched on. She's facing a match point. Rublev and Fognini are continuing their tight match as they go to deuce in the beginning of the third set, and going with serve there for Murray, as I see as well. I may well have missed a match, but I hope not. Nick, what's going on with Jabeur?
It's still 30-40, but also for those who want to follow the women's side, Marta Kostyuk is a setup on Jessica Pegula. Got it in a tie break.
I knew I was missing a match. in my search. Yes, I can see that. Could you keep an eye on ons for me, or keep an eye on that score? We will eventually just focus very much so. Oh, that's a wild shot there from Norrie. And I know we're going off all around the matches here, and hopefully you can all keep up with us. But actually, that's an interesting point here now. This crucial moment, Jack, in this Norrie-Murray match. So just tell us about where we're at.
15-30 at the moment for Andy. That serve +1 there is the kind of shot I was alluding to earlier, the one that Cam's improved so much over the past couple of years, being able to be aggressive off the first ball. So really, that's quite a cheap error. It's the kind of shot he would be making in his sleep. Doesn't have to go for too much, really. You can keep it away from the sideline. So it was just a big framey shot, basically. Don't think it's anything to do with nerves, a little bit of luck, and it's the kind of thing that Andy really needs to capitalise on. If he makes this return, I fancy his chances. And he's just missed a passing shot into the net, unfortunately. Yeah. I imagine he's shouting. I don't have the sound on, but I imagine he's shouting at himself at the
moment. I should have turned the sound completely off. I've got it on a very low level, but hopefully no one can hear it. But yeah, I mean, that was a tricky passing shot for him to attempt. He was kind of on the run there and had to get quite a bit of distance on it and didn't make the net there, as he goes for a backhand and also then puts into the net as Norrie does a fist pump to take a 40-30. Crucial point there, crucial 2 points, obviously being 15-30 there. And Nick, what's going on with Jabeur?
Jabeur saved 2 match points. It's now into a deciding set tiebreak for that match.
I was going to say, Nick, for all my slating of OnsJabeur earlier, I'm probably her biggest fan. Like, I really want her to win. I absolutely love watching her. I think she's got one of the most exciting games on tour. So that sounds good. Amazing. Keep going, Jabeur. Come on.
Yeah, she's won the first point as well.
One love.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry for that, Nick. Yeah, exactly. And it's all going off because Murray's now got this to deuce. So 3-2, deuce. Cause for optimism, Jack.
Yeah, definitely. I'll try and talk you through the next point, see what happens. I would expect Cam maybe to go out wide with this serve here just to try and catch Andy out. He might be expecting it down the tee with the lefty swing. We'll see what happens. He has gone wide. Andy was waiting for it. Andy went down the line with the forehand, trading backhand to forehand. Cam bails out with his own forehand back to Andy's forehand. Andy should have a chance here on the backhand. He gets it deep and it goes into the net from Cam. Here we go.
Jack, let's stick with this. Now he's got a break point. The first, I believe, in this set. I've been covering a couple other matches as well, so it's been difficult to keep myself across it. But I believe this is the first break point for either player in this set, Jack.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's been going with serve the whole time, John. So first chance.
Cool. Talk us through this crucial point.
And Cam will probably go out wide here, I'd imagine. He doesn't, and he's missed the serve, though it's not his natural serve, so he has a second now. Does Andy go aggressive? I would prefer if he just started the point, to be honest. Oh, okay. Shaky ball toss from Cam there. Catches it and goes again. Bit of nerves maybe. Double fault possibly. No, not quite. Andy goes aggressive and he misses the forehand.
He ignored your advice. I'm taking a bit of caution there. He goes big and he goes long.
He's laughing to himself, John.
Yeah, should have hired you instead of Lendl.
Yeah. I haven't seen Lendl there, by the way. I haven't seen Lendl much at all. I don't know if he lives in the US, so I'd be amazed if he's not there or thereabouts. I've seen the camera keeps going on, or not keeps, that's a bit of an exaggeration. The camera's panned to Murray's physio a couple of times. It probably kind of shows you a bit more about Murray's last couple of years than anything else. But I haven't seen Lendl much.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I thought he lived in the US.
Lendl's not been coming.
Right.
He might be at the US Open, but no one really knows. He seems to be a coach on the phone.
I like that. As we got juice here as they go backhand to backhand, and Norrie dumps it into the net. That's a very poor error there from Norrie, who was certainly sort of had the upper hand at that point. So once again, Jack, I'll let you take over here as Murray has a second break point.
Okay, again, first serve direction, absolutely crucial. Cam tried to outfox him with the tee serve. I imagine he'll probably do it again. I would expect him possibly to miss it again if he does go for it. So important part of the point here, the first serve.
Second
he
serve.
Misses the tee serve again, so we get another second serve.
Is he going to go aggressive? Yes or no? Should he go aggressive?
He shouldn't go aggressive. Just start the point, Andy. Come on. He's stepping in. I can see him stepping in. Another ball toss again. Goes awry.
It's like a second chance.
Oh my God. He'll be absolutely livid with that. He can't dump 2 returns in the net on break point on second serve. Yeah. Don't get bigger chances than that, unfortunately. That's exactly what I was saying earlier about tight moments. Andy making the wrong decisions. I'm not saying that was the wrong decision, but certainly he will not forgive himself for that if he loses this match. No way.
Nick, I don't know where your eyes are. Are they on this Murray-Norrie match? I know I was asking you to keep an eye on the...
I'm watching the Norrie match because it's I'm glancing.
He made that shot.
Score,
yeah, he has. That was unbelievable from Norrie.
Yeah, it was the shot of the match.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick. Go
on, Nick. Go.
No. It's fine. Like I'm saying, I'm watching the Norrie match, and yeah, that was a good shot. There is a definite sort of 2-second delay for me. So I'm really sorry. I can't contribute much to.
I'm sorry that we're spoiling it for you. If
I don't care, don't worry.
It sometimes helps alleviate the stress, Nick. I feel when you can find out ahead of time what's going to happen.
I'm just enjoying listening to Jack commentate, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I know. I think I won't have him on here for very long. He'll be on 5 Live pretty soon. As it comes back to deuce after an unforced error there from Norrie. So it's deuce number 4 in a game that's deep into its 8th minute. We've obviously got this Jabeur-McNally match that's now deep into the tie-break. It's actually on serve, albeit that McNally is 3-4 down. So I will keep people abreast of that while you guys just focus on Murray and Norrie, which is at deuce. So what we'll do is until we see either a break point or a game point in this, I'll just once again take us elsewhere. Going with serve Fognini-Rublev in the 3rd set. Fognini 2-1 up there. Jabeur, as I said, has now got the mini break up. So she's 2 points from victory, having already saved 2 points. That's been a pretty dramatic match, and that will be a hell of a win for Jabeur, which would make Jack, for the first half of Jack's wish come true today. The second half of which...
Sorry.
Don't worry. Take over. Murray-Norrie. Go on, Jack.
Andy and Cam's
shot.
Yeah, he got locked into a forehand backhand battle for a long time there. Andy's forehand to Cam's backhand, and when the change did happen, it was sublime. It was an Andy backhand drop shot that just out of nowhere, basically. Very, very nice shot to get the break point. Again, what will happen this time? Surely he takes the chance.
Well, I'll tell you what will happen probably this time is Norrie will finally get a first serve in. Go on, Jack.
Okay, here we go. First serve does go in. Andy's waiting for it out wide. Cam goes down the line with his forehand. Andy hooks it in again. Cam's definitely on top of the point now. Andy gets it deep enough to neutralise it though. Backhand deep to Cam's backhand. I don't know if you can hear
into the net. Dumps it into the net.
I don't know if you can hear the rest of my house there, but you probably can hear them in the background. But
are you in the Murray household there? I did hear them.
That was an absolute chance. I mean, if he'd made that, he would have got the break point there.
Listen,
style.
he's not been short of opportunities today, has he, Nick?
No, he hasn't, and it's frustrating seeing this because, this is a crucial point in the game. Because, I mean, look, we've seen Andy Murray miss chances and still win matches, but that was like prime Andy, and he's these guys head down already again. But yeah, I still think he can win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had a little bit of a dip
Listen,
in the next game.
That was a huge hold there, though, wasn't it, Nick?
Yeah, huge hold for Norrie. He's going to be massively boosted in confidence from that. I mean, we've talked a lot about. I want to hear Jack's thoughts on this. Actually, sorry to kind of steal control, John. But
do it.
What is it that Norrie's doing to Andy? Like we talked about how Andy's frustrating Norrie with the slice and to the backhand. What's Norrie doing that's disrupting Andy?
I don't think there's anything in particular matchup-wise actually that is particularly advantageous for Cam in this matchup. I feel like the backhand to Andy's forehand doesn't really matter too much. Andy's got quite a hooky forehand at least, although it's not aggressive. He can get it back into play, and the forehand as well to Andy's backhand. The defense is brilliant. So the long rallies make sense, and to be honest, it just takes a little bit of just a boost in pace for one of them to win the point. So it really matchup wise, it's not terrible. I don't think there's loads that is actually bothering Andy. It's just about execution. He's got the tactics right to beat Cam. It's pretty tough, obviously, because Cam can get a million balls back with that forehand in particular, and the backhand's quite unattackable. So there's not much that is struggling Andy more than other opponents, Nick, is all I would say, definitely.
Okay. That's a good thing to note, I think. Just because you've described what kind of I had an inkling about, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I think it's match point McNally again.
Wow, and it's 7-6 to McNally, I think, in the tiebreak. Yes, exactly. I was keeping an eye on the points as you guys were chatting away. Murray has a comfortable hold there, 4-3 up. But yes, McNally has a match point, Nick, as you rightly point out.
Yeah. Not anymore. Jabeur saved it again.
7-all.
Brilliant.
I mean, this is a really topsy-turvy match. I think McNally's had 3 match points and Jabeur has had 2. It's now, I think, 7-all. I think your live updates, by the way, are slightly prompter than mine. And now Jabeur's got a match point.
Yeah, I've switched scoring apps because the rest of mine was super behind.
Okay, good. I think yours is slightly ahead of mine. Just scream if somebody wins, basically, and I will do the same. Jack, you can just keep an eye. Sure, do that.
One thing I was going to say is that is easily a game that Andy could have, kind of been really hard on himself. Kind of could have let the ball drop, but he made sure he got first serves in pretty much every point there, and easy love hold. He might be a bit rattled, but that's a seriously impressive hold, and it kind of goes under the radar sometimes. You kind of forget after big chances like that. The best players in the world just let it. Andy doesn't normally let it go, I'd say that, but the best players in the world
go on,
let it go.
Yeah, OnsJabeur-'s got it. OnsJabeur wins the tiebreak 9-7, saves match points, finally converts the third one of her own. McNally still progressing up, but really good result for OnsJabeur. As she tries to get herself in a top 4 seeding for the US Open.
What is Nick? What is she like, Nick, in a tight match like that? I vaguely remember. Did she have one at Wimbledon where she won really tight tie breaks?
Oh, I know the match you mean, John.
Yeah, go on then, Jack.
Yeah, she played Elise Mertens in the 4th round, I believe, and the first set was insanely close. I'm sure she was down a few set points, and it was all slices and approaches and stuff to save the set points. So it was really sort of finessey stuff to make the difference, and really, Elise Mertens is a super consistent player at the slams. So you got to play really well against her to beat her. She's made like 18 third rounds in a row or something like that. So seriously impressive from Jabeur there. She can be amazing under pressure.
Okay,
much better than she was, because she had a reputation for not being great under pressure for a long time. And I think actually she started working with a sports psychologist similar to Iga Swiatek. So it's interesting that those two are now at the top of the WTA race. Probably maybe the way to go in tennis now, but we seem to be back.
She gave a really forthright, OnsJabeur, she gave a really forthright interview about 18 months ago. I would say just on the eve of the Australian Open of 2021, that Aussie Open that sort of had spells behind closed doors and was to the public at parts. And it was really forthright. And what do I mean by that? I mean, she was really upbeat about the future in a kind of pumped up way, and I just wasn't sure. It was given, I think, to the tennis podcast, and I just remember I wasn't quite convinced by it. That was what I would say. But I tell you what, she's delivered on her upbeat tone from that interview, because in the last 18 months, her rise to what is now, I think, world number 5, but obviously with the Wimbledon ranking points not available, I think she's been a bit unfortunate. And she really is the second best player of the year, without a doubt.
Yeah, undoubtedly. I definitely agree with that. The only thing I would say, again, those natural surfaces really, really help her. I think when she's feeling a little less uncomfortable, she doesn't know exactly how to finish the points. It's the forehand that does tend to go. However, I mean, I didn't see that match there. The forehand could have been firing. She certainly comes out with. She's got a really good forehand when it's on. It's just it's a little bit susceptible to breaking down when she's got her back against the wall.
As Norrie looks like he's going to hold here for 4-all, he's 40-15 up here. So if anything crazy happens in any match, we will tell you if we're looking at breaks of serve or break points.
Nick's just seen something, I'm pretty sure.
Go on, Nick.
Rublev's broken for a lead in the deciding set against Fognini. So it might be my prediction for Jack coming through that tight match.
I was just about to say the same. Yeah, Jack, you could be coming in there with your prediction of Rublev prevailing in what's obviously a very tight match. Thanks for that, Nick. So OnsJabeur we've done. She's through now to the last 16 in an amazingly tight match, winning 9-7. Let's have a quick look. Oh, what a surprise. Isner is into a tie break. And that's, by the way, the tie break is also on serve.
Of course it is.
Is her catch a serve bot, Jack, or is that a bit too harsh?
I'm sure me and Nick had a pretty similar conversation about this the other day. He's not just a serve bot. He's got weaknesses in his game. Again, the forehand really struggles to put some pace in that sometimes. It was basically the sole reason he got broken against Pablo Carreño Busta the other day in the final. Mm-hmm. Serving though, I mean, his serving is seriously good. He can hit angles that other people can't. I know he's tall, but I think his arms must be exceptionally long as well, sort of like Milos Raonic back in the day when he was serving so well, because he hits parts of the court that you just wouldn't expect him to hit, which is why so many players struggle to even get a racket on it. I'd like to see the ace percentages, because I'm convinced he'll be top 4 probably, I would imagine, probably behind Opelka and Isner, something like that. He's not just a serve bot though. Yeah, he comes into the net as well so well. Like that, he makes up for the fact he can't add pace to the forehand by coming in off the back of it. And again, those long levers he's got, he can get to balls maybe that other players can't, just with such a huge wingspan. So yeah, there's parts of his game that are seriously impressive. Backhand as well, of course. He can use the pace of the serve to redirect his backhand really well.
Norrie has a game point here, but he's at advantage. And Murray, by the way, in the middle of this match or in the middle of this game, has just produced an unbelievable backhand return winner. Once again, reminding us of his greatness on the return. But Norrie closes it out with an ace, and it's 4-all. Murray on the return, Agassi, Djokovic, Murray, in whatever order you prefer. Those are the 3 players that I can think of from my memory bank on the men's side whose returns stand out. Do you want to just give us a quick level of praise, either of you, on the Murray return?
Yeah, Nick, you go ahead if you like.
I was going to Jack take that one.
Okay,
go on then. Go on, Jack.
Yeah, fair enough. I absolutely love it. He steps into the court probably better than the other 2 players. Obviously, the other 2 players are also brilliant returners, but they neutralise the point probably more so than Andy, who's a bit more of an aggressive returner. Obviously, I was asking him to neutralise the point earlier because I don't like seeing him miss aggressive returns. But that said, he is probably the best in the game at it. He's just got it, sort of like Azarenka on the women's side as well. Takes the ball so early and gets it back into positions of the court that you wouldn't expect any other returner to get it to, for sure. So right up there. It's a different style of return for sure, but still, yeah, so effective when it's on, definitely.
Yeah. As he's going 15 love up, 30 love there with an ace from Murray. Isner has actually got a mini break in that tie break, which will feel like a significant break. So he's 4-2 up in that first set tie break. Rublev is still got that one break advantage. He now leads 4-2 against Fognini in the decisive third set. Jabeur, we already touched on. Pegula, by the way, lost the first set 7-6 to Kostyuk, but actually has a double break lead as she leads 4-1 in that second set. Are there any other matches that are taking place that I'm missing? Quite possibly.
Karolina Pliskova and Elise Mertens have got underway, which,
Okay.
even though they've been put on a small court, I would call that a relatively big match. I mean, you've got Mertens being a former doubles number one, Grand Slam semi-finalist, very consistent at that level. And Pliskova obviously being a former world number one in singles and two-time Grand Slam finalist herself. So I'm surprised it's on that lower court. Or at least I wouldn't have put it on if I was scheduling it. But
yeah, it'll be based on ranking, I guess, Nick. She's probably around the sort of 15, 16 mark at the moment, Pliskova.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would schedule matches very differently. I would schedule it based on what's the best matchup and bang for your buck rather than ranking, because I prefer to. Most people who actually go to tournaments are probably actually tennis fans who know what they're looking for.
Yeah. I wish there was a bit of a thought process like that when it comes to the press conferences as well. Having seen and witnessed and also even taken part in a few myself, that some people who have no clue about tennis somehow get the questions in first. And other people like me, who's kind of interested in certain key moments in matches, if you like, don't get our questions in, while other people want to talk about the histrionics of Kyrgios or ask Nadal what he thinks about his rivalry with Federer. and you can see Nadal's eyes roll when he says, we've been talking about this for 15 years. And I've answered pretty much the same, you know. Go on, Jack.
I was just going to say the biggest new age one is probably Emma Raducanu getting asked how she deals with pressure.
Yeah. And by the way, that I think she's dealt with that question with aplomb on the occasion she's been asked it, albeit that she's still drawn criticism from the British media, but that's the British media for you. As Murray, okay. Is that Murray facing a break point? I think he is.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very good drop shot from Cam on the catching that ball. He was probably quite restricting what he could produce with that shot in that circumstance, but he executes it so well.
Yeah, Andy under pressure this week, certainly against Stan. We saw the serve and volley at the tail end of the match. I wouldn't mind that play here. Would be exciting to see. Fingers crossed.
Go on.
Just waiting
to see
Jack. I'll try and describe what's happening. First serve out wide. Really should have it from here. If he misses, he hasn't. Fortunately, got the short ball and just forced the error. Cam got a racket on it, but yeah, he forced the error. So break point saved, back to Juice.
Okay, cool. Both of you, you're going to need to save my bacon for 30 seconds just while I leave my chair and just talk about tennis.
Yeah, no worries, John.
Yeah,
we can save you, don't worry.
Yeah, it's definitely a big moment in this game. No, John was talking about big moments earlier. This is definitely one of those. Is this going to be a match-defining game, Jack?
It's got to be, surely. Serve it wide from Andy. Open court to hit the forehand. Cam comes back, rolls the forehand, and it's neutralised, basically. Andy did a chance at the start there, but he went a bit safe in the front. So we're now looking at a backhand from Andy cross-court. Maybe gets him the advantage. Yep. Surely now, forehand down the line. And slice approach. He's drop shot instead. Has Cam made that?
I think it's gone long. I heard an out call. Yeah, he has gone long, but it looked in, by the way. So
I thought it looked in as well.
I thought it looked in, and I can't believe I heard an out call. Obviously, I think they've got electronic lines people there, right?
Yeah, it's electronic.
Yeah.
It
still looks in, but I guess they can't. I guess they can't challenge because it's electronic. Yeah.
It's not perfect, but I would. There was an instant. I can't remember which match it was, but like the other day, someone asked for a replay, and the ball ended up being in. So I think Cam should have asked for a replay there.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How does that happen, Nick? That's mad.
Yeah, that is mad. Yeah.
It's to do with the way the electronic line calling works and the way it's kind of aligned. And if they get the alignment off, it can still call it wrong. It is possible to get the alignment off on the electronic calling. So. It's not perfect.
Could be calling a different line Yeah, I was going to be calling a different line, maybe if it hits like a corner or something like that, or a service line, for example. I don't know, but that's still mad.
Yeah. Well, I think Norrie will say it's evened out because obviously it's juice again.
Yeah. On my screen, by the way, Isner has been 6-3 up for about 20 minutes in this tiebreak, so that can't be right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know whether one's taken a... Maybe Hurkacz has got some kind of issue or something. But
Has John Isner played a long rally?
I don't think...
Can't imagine
like I say,
a 50-shot rally being the two.
And Norrie's got a break point, Jack. Once again, your nerves will be jangling, as will the rest of the household.
Yeah, you'll probably hear some reactions. I think if this point doesn't go Andy's way, again, first serve absolutely crucial for Andy, more so than Cam, because it feels like Cam's come with a few more long rallies than Andy is. So I would like to see first serve out wide just to get a nice serve going. Maybe the serving volley. I feel like he won't do that against Cam, though the fan pretty much always comes back in place. It will make it tough. He did go for it, actually.
Second serve, though. Second serve.
He was looking for the serving volley there, so he's kind of given that away if he does have another break point. Second serve, Andy. He double faulted.
Damn. Damn.
That hurts.
Yeah. So Norrie now to serve for the match. Oh, and it hurts Murray too. What has he just done there, Nick? Talk us through that moment there from Nick. Oh, Nick. Go on, take over.
Yeah, that's frustration from Andy. Very much frustration from Andy. Just whacking his racket against the bench, and there's someone out looking at. Has he hurt himself with it? I kind of missed.
No, I think he's probably just taken a massage on some tight limbs, it seems. It doesn't seem to be anything serious, but maybe he's just feeling a bit of tightness from the matches the other day and in general. And therefore, I mean, he's obviously frustrated, and which is why he's just whacked his own bag as they're at the change over here, 4-5 down, Norrie to serve for the match. There's nothing too serious, I don't think, from my complete lack of knowledge when it comes to medical issues, but it looks like nothing more than a massage here just to loosen his limbs as he goes into what's going to be a crucial game. Jack, what went wrong in that last game?
Yeah, I was going to say, if the legs are feeling tight, there's a chance maybe he wasn't able to push up on that last second serve. That's maybe what caused him to double fault long, which is probably why he's so frustrated. It seems like if he's his legs massaged straight away.
Yeah.
Double
fault there, obviously.
He was cramped against yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if that's again, but like he's going to need some life back in the legs if he's going to get this break back. So does not surprise me that he's having that looked at, because it's his best hope of coming back and breaking Cam, which he can do.
So I'll just... Yeah, you're here, Jack. Yeah, I'll just very, very quickly, as Norrie prepares to serve this out, Rublev has beaten Fognini. Jabeur, we've already said, is through. Isner and Hurkacz, no idea what's going on there. But let's get back here as Norrie serves for the match, and he's up 15-love with the first serve there in that was an unreturnable. So Norrie now 3 points from victory, Jack.
He's gone again.
Don't worry. I've got. Go on, Nick. Talk to us about this.
I mean, I'm going to be a bit behind everyone else, so my conscience is like, Norrie serves good serve. Norrie loops it back. Forehand, Norrie.
15 all. Sorry to interrupt there. Yeah, 15 all. So now it's 3 points from victory still, but Murray's got a bit of a sniff here at the very least. Jack, what you probably should do if you can hear us, you're frozen. But can we hear you, Jack? All right, we'll just... yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen. What I suggest you do is just sort of come out and come back in. Hopefully you'll get back in before the end of the match. I'll just talk us through this point here at 15 all. Murray goes down the line. It's aggressive from Murray, and it pays off. 15-30 as he's 2 points away from breaking. It could really be a sensational twist in the tale of this story. Murray there seemingly moving okay despite cramping up. Jack, I can see you moving around. Jack, when you feel as though you can hear us, then feel free to interrupt me at any point. The second serve that Murray's going to look at here, I'll talk us through this next point. 15-30, second serve, Norrie will be feeling it a bit. Murray comes in on it, as he's done so often in this game, and he's done so often in his career. Currently on the forehand of Murray's, he loops it up and he loops it long. 30 all. Norrie fist pump there. Big relief there as it's now 30 all. Nick, any thoughts on that last point?
Yeah, both players kind of kept that rally quite neutral. So at the end of the day, it was going to come down to someone trying to take the initiative and either hitting a glorious win or an error. It ended up being just Murray not quite executing a forehand, as sometimes happens to him. So yeah, neither of them really taking the initiative, both just waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah.
And
30 all here then.
Norrie.
Yep, second serve. Norrie, once again, Murray steps in, goes big on the return, but not big enough as it turns out. But he goes big on the forehand. He comes into the net. He should win this point. Does he win the point? No, he doesn't. Norrie pulls it out the bag and now has a match point. Murray will be disappointed with that volley, Nick.
For sure. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just Cam was already moving forward. He was trying to drop volley, and I think Murray had already committed to the shot, but Cam had anticipated it. So pretty good job from Cam Norrie. I think if Murray had picked a different one and tried to hit past him, maybe he would have had a bit more success. But yeah, that was well anticipated from Norrie to get him that match point.
Yep, I thought Norrie had done it for a second with an ace, but he hasn't. Second serve. Second serve now. I'll talk us through the point as we return Jack to the stream, but I'll just talk us to this point. It's on the second serve. Once again, Murray goes big on the return. It's on the forehand here to the backhand of Norrie. They're going cross court at the moment. These are nervous moments for both players. Match point Norrie, remember. Forehand of Murray goes cross, takes him out of the play, but can he win the point? Not yet. Norrie's back in play. Backhand down the line, backhand to backhand. Has Norrie gone long? No, he hasn't. It's on the backhand now of Murray to the forehand of Norrie. Norrie loops it up. It's tricky. These are nervy moments here on the backhand slice. Gets it over the net, but it's a winner from Norrie. And he's won. Jack, how do you feel?
Yeah, that was a bit of again, lost opportunity, kind of a broken record for the last few months for sure. I mean, Andy had an absolute sitter of a chance halfway through that set and will feel pretty by it, and certainly probably feels like his body let him down. I would imagine having the massage after that service game when he double faulted. So I think he'll be gutted. He's gutted after every match, but yeah, he's probably feeling pretty hard done by there.
Yeah, Nick, any final thoughts on the match?
Much the same as Jack's. Really, there was definitely missed opportunities for Murray to win that. He should have. There was opportunities he could have converted, like those returns, just going for a bit too much at points, maybe. And I think that's something that Murray's always kind of done, but it's been doing particularly. And he looks like he's in pain from the cramp he's suffering from right now, which is not nice to see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really grimacing there. That's not good. But
I mean, it's not good, and I'm sure it affected him today. And perhaps the lengthy match finally catching up with him against Wawrinka. What it's not a great moment for Andy. He won't be feeling it right now, but cramp is not something that will prevent him from participating in the US Open, where he'll hope to have a bit better luck than he had in his first round last year. Jack, have you got any concerns about Murray's body at the moment? I mean, we're seeing him get a massage here after his defeat today.
This is the first time I've seen him cramping for a long time. Shades of Queen back to 5 something, I think. Remember that one over halfway through the match. He just kept trying to play, and his legs were really, really failing him. I wouldn't feel too bad about cramping. It's the sort of thing that can happen to any player, and it's the sort of thing that he'll be able to prepare himself well for. I don't feel too bad. If it had been something to do with the hip, of course that would give me a bit. But yeah, cramping, something that can be solved.
Yeah, and John Isner managed to win that tie break, the one that seemed to be lasting a while. He's won the first set 7-6. Let's have a quick look at Pegula. Pegula's won her second set, so that's a set all between her and Kostyuk. And Rublev, as I highlighted before, has emerged to go through. So at least you got your prediction right there, Jack. Nick, any final thoughts before we go off air regarding either that match or any other matches that have taken place today?
Yeah, I think sort of. I'm just still sort of taking it in. I mean, that was a decent match. I enjoyed what I saw. It was a good quality match. Like, they both played well. It was just at the end of the day, it just came down to who played. As anything, the tennis, fine margins on big points, but there was some good rallies between the two. So it was an entertaining one. It's the only real match that's been going on today because I think it's starting. But yeah, I'm now looking forward to seeing what the rest of the day's tennis has to offer.
Yeah, Nick, you're somebody who manages to squeeze in a bit of sleep from time to time. I'm impressed by that because you've obviously got a full-time job and you keep across most tennis matches. We've obviously got Rafa Nadal playing later this evening, albeit 1 o'clock where I am. I guess that's around about midnight where you are. What other matches, Nick, are you excited about this evening?
I'm going to be watching Azarenka versus Raducanu. I'm interested to see how that goes. See what kind of boost Emma gets from beating Serena. Also, Azarenka, she's a player who, when she's on form, particularly on US hard courts, can be very exciting to watch. I'll be watching Swiatek match later against Sloane Stephens. Again, fascinated to see how that one plays out. Whether Stephens can challenge Swiatek, I don't know whether she's necessarily got the game for it. We'll see how Swiatek approaches the match. Those are kind of the two big ones I'm interested in. Probably the other one, Rybakina and Muguruza, that could be really good or really messy.
By the way, so many matches there that all seem sort of mouth-watering, as our friends across the pond might describe, popcorn. Which, by the way, of course, I should bring us to Nick and Jack. I think both of you contribute to popcorn, and I'm right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Jack. Can you hear us, Jack? Okay, yeah, Jack's part of the team. He's part of the popcorn family. I think he's done something for us. Obviously, we regularly appear on his On the Line podcast, and he's got his own writing on there as well. He and I recorded an episode of On the Line that came out sort of yesterday, which I would suggest everyone checks out. It's always a really good listen for Jack, particularly if you like stats. He's very, very good in that area. But yeah, so we're both part of the popcorn family. I'll just tease you a bit with I've got I'm hoping to have a piece coming out in the build up for the US Open on popcorn, looking back on Emma Raducanu's US Open run from last year. I've kind of been teasing Owen and Scott, who run it, about it, but they haven't actually read it yet. So hopefully it's actually good. Always check our stuff out. We've always got some interesting analysis going on popcorn, and probably not the kind of stuff that you usually get from other tennis content. So yeah.
Where can we find you on Twitter? Jack, do you want to have a go quickly, Jack? I know you're in and out. Don't worry, these things happen with 21st technology. Jack, while we've got you, sorry, Nick, I will come back to you. Jack, while we've got you, anything you want to add? Either the matches upcoming or anything you've got in the pipeline?
Yeah, hopefully I'm here for long enough. Is this to do with what I'm doing? Sorry, with media wise, John, or matches that are going on?
Exactly,
yeah. I run a blog basically on the line tennis.uk. Very sort of analytical stuff, the kind of stuff maybe I was saying there, sort of goes quite in depth into why people have won matches, basically. For example, why Karina this week, like that, basically. If you check me out there, brilliant. Check me out on Twitter. Well, I've got some more stuff going on the line on Jack. So thank you very much, John, for having me.
Thanks, Jack, for coming along. It's been great having you on board, and your analysis has been invaluable, which bizarrely enough just means extremely valuable. Nick, just quickly, one more thing from you before we say goodbye to everybody. You said you've got this Raducanu thing in the pipeline. Anything else, Nick, we can expect? Where can we find you on Twitter, for example, Nick?
Yeah, so follow me on Twitter, where I just sort of chat about what matches I'm watching or have just watched, and constantly bombard people with popcorn articles. So you can follow me on Twitter at Nick_B Carter to come and have a chat with me. And that'll be all good fun.
Great. I am frequently commenting on, liking, and retweeting a lot of both of your stuff. So certainly follow at Talking Tennis TT, I think. Sadly, at Talking Tennis was already taken. So I had to add the TT at the end. Also, you can follow me personally on at JSilk. Again, if you don't like tennis, then what are you doing watching? If you don't like tennis, don't follow me on Twitter either, because I'll be commenting a lot on that. So yes, great to have you both on board, and I look forward to having you again soon. Let's do a big wave and goodbye.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, John.
And
Thank you.
And
if you can hear me,
thanks,
thank
Jack.
you.
Yeah, can do. Take care. Bye bye.